Hi, I'm Haley. This is my knitting channel. Welcome or welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about my fall knitting plans. Okay, so these are going to be my fall and winter knitting plans because I don't think that those two seasons differ very much for me. So I'm going to group them all into one. And I'm going to start with the ones that I talked about in my last podcast, just to kind of get them out the way. I want to make a sweater for my husband out of, he asked for cotton, which was just this regular Cascade Ultra Pima. And I started it my last podcast, it was just a swatch. But I did about 1.5 inches maybe. And cotton is just blah, and black cotton is like blah blah. And also, I don't even know if this is going to be able to fit over his head. So I have to start it over regardless. But I'm thinking maybe I might just switch the yarn out and he'll get what he gets. I've also upgraded my project bags. I found these Cozy Earth, like, free with purchase little canvas zip bags. Because although I like being able to see through the organza bags, my needles have poked so many holes in them and they were falling apart a little bit. So sad, rest in peace. Next is my mod tee by Petite Knit. The body is complete now with the cutest little folded hem, and I honestly kind of like the inside better than the outside. I just think the way it's sewed down turned out so cute. I usually fold it over and knit it together. This is the first time I've sewn it down. Love it, absolutely love. And I'm working on the sleeve. I'm like almost to my elbow on one sleeve, and the other sleeve has not been touched yet. But I'm really excited to have this because it's kind of like a staple, a basic. A staple? You can wear it with a lot of stuff. You can throw it on for everything. And it's super soft and super cozy. So yeah, I'm doing that out of the Malabrigo Makita. It's fun. In Valentina, which I always feel like looks so much more pink on camera, and in real life it's like more lavender than pink, if that makes sense. But it's on 4mm needles. It's by Petite Knit, did I say that? And the smallest size is a 36.5 inch bust, like of the finished garment. So I didn't swatch or anything because that's like almost 5 inches of positive ease for me. So if my gauge is off, it really wouldn't matter too much. But, and I'm just looking at my notes, but compared to what I'm used to, this is going slow. I think it's because the only other full-length long sleeve sweater I made was the stripy sweater, and that was on 6mm needles, which is like super quick. Even though it took me a long time to finish, the stripy sweater took a long time because I wasn't working on it. So it was fast when I was working, but it sat for a long time. It did a lot of hibernating. I also want to make a little baby sweater for my son. He's, what is he, like 15 months, 16 months? And we're going to DC this weekend. Water. We're going to DC this weekend, and I just realized it's not hot there anymore, which duh, but I just wasn't thinking because it's still like 80, 90 degrees out here. So I had to hurry up and start his sweater, and I didn't look through patterns or anything, because when I look for patterns, it takes me a really long time to make a decision, like weeks and weeks I'll sit on stuff. So I just started designing. This doesn't even look like a sweater yet. But I started this morning. Come on. The white is kind of hard. And my goal, so this is the back. I'm doing it in 2x2 rib, and my goal is for it to wrap around to the front and be like the cutest little baby v-neck. I think it'll be so adorbs. I'm hoping it'll be quick because it's Monday and we leave Thursday, so worst case I can finish it on the plane. But we're going to my grandmother's birthday party, and all he really has in his size right now is sweatshirts and hoodies and stuff. So he does have warm stuff, he just doesn't have anything dressy enough for the occasion. So I'm hoping this will be done and he could wear a little white button up under it, and maybe some either black or khaki dress pants. I'm doing it out of the Bernat Bundle Up, which is definitely synthetic. I think it's polyester. But I'm holding it double on 5.5 millimeter needle, the US 9. So I just put it on the scale and caked half, because I'm not sure how much baby sweaters take, but I didn't want to open 2 balls of yarn if I didn't have to. So we'll see how that's gonna turn out, but I'm excited. We'll see. I've never constructed a sweater like this before, so I kind of have no idea what I'm doing, and just holding it up to him occasionally to see if it's gonna work. But it's kind of 2 birds in 1 stone, because I wanted to design like a chunky v-neck for myself. If you've ever seen the Dave's, it's either Dave's sweater or Dave's sweater, is the hashtag, and I'm blanking on the designer info, but obviously I will put that in the description below. But the lady, I believe it was a woman that designed it, she wrote a book, and it's a sweater in that book. You can only get the sweater if you buy the book. And I didn't want to buy the book because I personally don't like the design of the sweater, but she used Lang Yarn's Cloud, and she held it double, and the yarn itself is variegated. It's either striped or variegated, one or the other, or both. And it just plays together so well when you hold it double, and the colors are changing at 2 different times. And I absolutely love the look of the yarn, but did not like the sweater itself at all. So I really want to do something with that yarn, but not at all that design. And I'm kind of using this impromptu baby sweater to knock out my construction and figure it out on a smaller scale, because it goes by a lot faster, and the yarn is really expensive. So I don't want to be like frogging it and knotting it up and going through all that, when I can just, you know, figure it out on a small scale and then upsize it. So I don't know what I'm gonna name it or what I'm gonna call it, but that's one of the things that I want to accomplish this fall, is that Lang Clouds like v-neck for myself. And then the final 2, I guess I'm not using that. I have, wow, this is ambitious, because I have the mod tee. Oh no. Okay, so I do have one more pattern. I have one more pattern, 2 more patterns, and 2 more designs. I don't know who told me I was a designer, but these are high hopes for fall and winter all in one. I'm definitely going to finish the mod tee because I'm almost done, and I would be shocked if I didn't finish the baby sweater. But beyond that, I'm curious to see how much I accomplish. Anyway, tangent. So the final two designs that I want to make this fall winter are a quarter zip, like where the zipper just stops here, because sometimes you go outside and you want a turtleneck because your neck is cold and it's like windy, but only for that one moment, and then you just want stuff off your neck. So I think having a quarter zip would be nice. The design itself, I haven't started it yet because I'm just so lost right now on exactly what I want to do. I have like 4 different visions of a quarter zip in my mind, so I really can't even say that much beyond the fact that I'm thinking of doing it out of either the Malabrigo wash did or the Mecca. I think the wash did is most likely what I'm gonna go with, but I don't like any of the colors. I love the single ply, I love how soft it is, I love that it's super wash. So I love those 3 things, but I really don't want a super colorful or super variegated quarter zip. I really want it to be kind of solid, like the mod tee. Like, it can be a color, but not a whole bunch of colors in one. I want the color itself to be toned down because I think I want to do some sort of, I want the design to be more stitchwork, whether it's ribbing, whether it's cables, whatever I settle on, I want that to pop more than the yarn itself. So if you know of any good single ply superwash merinos, let me know, because the Malabrigo wash did doesn't really come in that many tonals. It's like a deep red tonal, which I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think there's like a light blue and some dark grays, and none of those were really speaking to me. And I was also thinking about Knit Picks Muse, which is a superwash single ply, and I think it's closer in comparison to Malabrigo's Mecca, which I'm leaning against because I think it's just too chunky to still have the look that I want. I think it's just a little bit too chunky to where finished it might look like a chunky knit, and I don't want chunky knit to be like the finished look. So that's what's taking me away from Muse, but they have a really pretty color called like Dreams Tonal or like Dream Tonal, something like that, and it's like a tonal pink, and it's gorgeous, but I think it might be a little too chunky. So yeah, I need a lot of help, and if you feel like helping me out, put it in the comments below because I'm struggling, and I can't finish the sweater if I never even get the yarn, right? And the last thing I want to design is like a zipped hoodie, and I've never sewn a zipper. I've never even seen a zipper that wasn't connected to a bag or a jacket or something already. Like, I've never even seen a lone zipper. So how any of this is going to be accomplished beats me, but clearly I'm shooting for the stars this fall and winter. And again, with this zip up hoodie, I want it to be a full zip, and I think what's holding me back is that I think for it to really have the look that I'm going for, I would need to do it on like 2.5 or 3 millimeter needles for it to really accomplish the vision I have in my head, which sounds disgusting. It sounds disgusting. but I have like two versions living in my head, which is also like the super chunky side. So I really have no concrete angle for where I want to go with this just yet. I feel like if you do the 2.53 millimeter needles, then the zipper, like when you sew it with the zipper itself, this might not make any sense, but like the zipper itself, okay, say I do an orange one on 2.53 millimeter needles, so those tiny little stitches, I could do like a white zipper or like a yellow zipper, and the fabric and zipper can kind of be like living their own lives, you know, like it could be a moment, the zipper. Or if I go over to the chunky territory, the zipper could be almost invisible if I execute it correctly. But the fluff and the chunk of the yarn itself could hide the zipper completely. So I don't know, maybe I need to design two. Maybe I just need to start with the chunky one this year because some of these other ones are already on smaller needles, and then come back next year and do the tiny ones. And then my mom wants this cardigan that I can never remember the name of, but she wants to do it out of the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the color Hazel, which is sitting right there on my desk. And I think it's such a her request. I think she's gonna love it if I ever actually finish it, but it's very her. It's like a little bit of cable work, which I've never done before, but not too much cable work that I think I'll be overwhelmed. And the needle size is on the larger end. I don't remember if it's 5.5, somewhere between 5 and 6. I'll have all the information linked below. But the last thing I need to do for this is pick out the buttons. Other than that, I have everything. I just have been really good at sticking to my like no more than 2 whips. That's a lie, because technically I started the raglan tee, if you watched my last podcast, and it's sitting over in this closet as an abandoned whip, and I just started a sweater for the baby, so technically I have 4 whips. But anyway, I want to at least finish the mod tee before I cast on my mom's cardigan, and she's going to DC as well, so I want to take her measurements in person so that I just don't go in completely blind, because I'm not going to gauge swatch, if I'm being honest. Okay, lastly, what I'm most excited about. I was stalking this pattern so hard the second I saw her post about it. Her is Other Loops on Instagram, and she has the twist loops top, which I loved, and I thought it was so cute. And it was another one of those things that pulled me to try to learn how to knit in the first place, because I was like, that's just gorgeous. And as far as I'm aware, you can't just purchase the shirt itself from her. It's just a pattern and you got to make it. So loved it. It's on either 2.5 or 3 millimeter needles, and I was just scared. I was scared. I did not want that to be the project that I learned how to knit on. And then she dropped the twist loop sweater like 2 weeks ago, maybe. It's the 26th. She dropped it on the 15th. So it's super fresh. And it's either she's not on Ravelry. It's something weird about the pattern that I remember. So I was stalking the pattern for a long time, and she does a lot of collaborations with a company that is foreign to the US called Onling. I don't know how to pronounce it. When you see it on the yarn labels, it's Onling, but when you go to the website, it's like OENLING.com. I'm pretty sure. I'll link it below. But so the pronunciation is like blowing my mind. The pattern finally dropped, and like a lot of her other patterns, she released a kit in collaboration with this company because it's the yarn that she used for all her samples, and it's three yarns held together. There's like, you see, like, I've been hyped. I've been doing a lot of planning for this one. I think it might be the project I'm most excited about, and when I get super excited and I really want something to just turn out perfect first try, I'll prep a lot harder. Like the sweater for the baby, I mean, he's not gonna complain about it. So I didn't do that much prep, and I was okay with it coming out a little wonky, but this, I want it to be perfect so bad. So the three she holds together, it looks like she's holding a fingering and two lace. The fingering is 100% merino, and then a silk mohair lace and a wool cotton lace. And I went on the website to order the kit because I felt like if I ordered the exact same yarn, I had a higher chance of it coming out the way I wanted it to. But it's not, the wool is not superwash, and the more I looked into them, it's looking a little rustic. It's looking a little itchy. I've never touched any of these yarns. I've never felt any of these yarns, and I'm completely judging a book by its cover. I'm aware. But until I find someone or somewhere that has it or can vouch for it, I'm going with my gut. And the kit is $200 with the pattern included, but still $200. So I was like, $200, it's on 4.5mm needles to spend all that time, and I've never cabled. It has a lot of cable. The whole thing's in rib. There's no stockinette relief. That would be so much work to end up with an itchy sweater. So I think I'm going to stick to what I know and go with Malabrigo. But I still want the look. Like, she combined, like I said, those three yarns, but they were also three slightly different colors. She did hers in a creamy, like, oatmeal wheat type vibe, like a tad bit darker than ivory. And the way they work together, it's almost heathered. My camera is always cutting off. I still want that kind of feel as far as the color and like the visual look of it, but I just want it to be super soft. And I'm thinking of going with the Malabrigo Susuro? Not Susuro, not 100% positive on how to pronounce it, but it is 50% silk, 25% linen, and 25% merino, and it's 325 yards for 100 grams, so it's coming in at like a sport weight. And the fingering plus 2 lace is giving like DK vibes. The fingering was 383 yards per 100 grams, so it's only slightly thinner than the Susuro, and the 2 lace were lace. So I'm thinking if I hold this one double, I should get something similar. It might be a little bit thicker, but I've noticed when I do other people's patterns, their needle size to yarn combination doesn't normally give me a fabric that I like. I don't know if I'm just a really loose knitter, but normally if I go straight for it, like exact, it's a little too holy. I almost like to size up in yarn and use the correct needles, or size down in needles and use the correct yarn, because I tend to gravitate towards a denser fabric. Like on my mod tee, the Makita Held Double is slightly thicker than the recommended yarn, which I think was, no, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm just gonna put it right here. I don't remember what that yarn was. But I do think it came out I think the double weight is a tad bit thicker. So I'm not really too worried about the Malabrigo Held Double, and the colors that I want, they have like a creamy tonal, and then it looks like either a beige tonal or a light gray tonal, but I haven't found a yarn shop local to me in LA that carries the exact colors that I want. I've seen the yarn itself in person, and it's super soft and super shiny as well, because of the 50% silk. I think it's like mulberry silk, but who even knows what that really means. I think it's still going to be the combination I'm happiest with regardless, and my like proactive game plan is that if I don't love it on the 4.5, I'll go down to a 4, because the smallest size of this pattern is a 39-inch chest. Not a chest, but a 39-inch finished bust. Like the actual sweater is 39 inches around, and my bust is 32. So even if I size down to the 4, it'll be a little bit smaller than that 39, but I have plenty of positive ease that I don't think it would matter too much. And my thought process is, if I just knit it really tight, then between like the blocking, washing, and stretching over time, it won't be too critical. But we'll see. Like I said, we're going to DC this weekend, and I really feel like this is the path that I'm meant to go down for this sweater, because I had thought of this yarn combination, finally settled on both yarn and color, and then I was working and watching I think her name is Felicia. I'm praying her name is Felicia, because that would be terrible, but I'll link her channel below. I was watching her podcast. She lives in DC, and she was talking about a yarn shop called Looped Yarn Works in DC. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to DC, I'll check them out. Then I went down the rabbit hole, started watching more of her podcasts, and the next podcast, she's like, oh my gosh, I went back to Loops, and I found this yarn that I'm so in love with. It's so soft and shiny. It's Malabrigo Cicero. And I was like, what? Is this a sign? Ever. So I just feel like too much is aligning for this not to be the perfect combo. But yeah, can you tell that's the one I'm most excited about? So when we go, I'm going to go into the yarn shop, hope they have the color. If they don't have the exact colors, I may just get one skein that I think is really pretty and half it and actually do a true swatch, and then order the rest online. I'm definitely not going to go into the yarn shop and get a full sweater quantity. One, because it tends to be more expensive in store, and two, I'm flying, so I don't want to carry all that back with me for such a common brand, I guess. But I do want to pick up 1 to 2 like really cute sock skeins, because I think it's time for me to start my sock journey, or at least I want to get into a habit of yarn as true souvenirs, because it's so easy to pack, like if you just squish it, and socks take like one skein. So I can just have a collection of socks from around the world one day, and I think that would be super cute. So I'm gonna start with this trip to DC. Whether or not I get the Malabrigo is to be determined, but I definitely want to at least get some cute like local sock yarn. But yeah, this is super ambitious, crazy ambitious, and we'll see where I go from here and how much I actually get done. I am psychotic to think that I can accomplish this all, but I'm sitting here very confident that all of this will be done. Maybe I'm lying to myself, maybe I don't actually know what it takes yet because I'm such a fresh knitter, but I think I can do it. I really think I can do it, and I'm excited, except for the jacket. The full zip jacket is going to be the one that's gonna waver, but at least the three gift knits, baby, husband, mommy, done. They'll be done. The mod tee is absolutely gonna be finished. The twist loops I'm so excited for. How could I not finish it? And then at least one of the three things I want to design, between the Lang V-neck, the quarter zip, or the full zip. How many projects is that? 1 design, 3 gifts, 2 patterns, 6 things? 6 things between fall and winter, absolutely accomplishable. Right? Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and listening to my plans. I appreciate you for coming back, and I'm really excited to hear what y'all are planning. I definitely think you should comment below and let me know what you're planning on knitting on this fall/winter. Also, if you have favorite like podcasters who've dropped their plans, shoot them my way. I really just want to see, like, am I too ambitious? Are there plans that are better than my plans that I want to switch to? I also want to do another stripy sweater in animal fiber. But that's just a side note. So yes, just talk to me. Let me know what you're doing, what you want to do. Let me know if I'm crazy for thinking I can get all this done. And yeah, check in with me soon to see if I actually accomplish anything at all.